Welcome back to Valheim, everyone. Today we are taking a look at the brand new Call to Arms update that has a full combat overhaul and adds bears to the game, new weapons, armor, all kinds of mechanics and craftables and quality of life things, bug fixes, all kinds of cool stuff. And with Gamescom happening right now, a lot of games recently have been announcing or updating, which is very exciting. So yeah, when I saw that Valheim dropped a little something in the public test branch today, figured I would hop on and check it out. So without further ado, let's jump in with everything that is new about this update. I suppose I'll start with the armor, since I am wearing a new armor. This is the bear armor, and if I go into my inventory, there are two new armor sets added to the game. We have the loincloth of the bear, the patterns of the bear, as well as the headdress of the bear. And I'll go over the stats and how to craft these here soon. We also have another armor set, which is from the Vial, which is like a much larger bear. And that is what this armor set looks like. Also have a headband that we can purchase from Hilder, the Hilder NPC. And now to craft these new armor sets, you will need to fight the new bears that were added to the game. And I will show you how to do that in a second, but before I do, I'm just going to show you the stats of the armor sets. So starting with the bear armor set here, we have the patterns of the bear, which is the chest piece that you can craft, and a full set of 3 increases damage and regeneration, but weakens you against physical damage. So to craft this piece, it's bear hide, bear paw, and blueberries. And then the Vial bone cage here, which is the chest piece for the Vial armor set. This one requires bear hide, Vial rib cage, and linen thread. And it has the same perks basically and debuffs as the bear armor. So that's the recipe for the chest pieces of them. And then moving on to the head pieces, we have the headdress of the bear, which is a bear hide and bear trophy to craft. And then the Vial bone visage, which is bear hide and a Vial trophy in order to craft those. So now let me show you where you can find the bears and the Vials. So you can see here a normal bear spawns in the Black Forest, and this is what they look like. They can also happen in 1 or 2 star spawns. So I'm actually just gonna go out of ghost mode and fight this one to show you basically how much damage it does with a bronze sword. Since we are in the Black Forest, that's the weapon you'll likely have. They are pretty beefy though, and nothing that I'm showing you today is final because this is all public test. It's not the full release yet. So things may change, whether it's the attack patterns of the enemies or recipes for certain things I'm showing you. So none of this is fully final, which is why I'm not going to spend a lot of time sharing about this in great detail. But anyway, I actually may not even use a shield for this. So let me go out of Ghost here. There we go. And you can see that it does do quite a bit of damage, but it does take a little bit of time in between attacks, and you can parry it. It's not too bad. When it does whack really hard, this is with the Vial armor, so it'll do a little bit more damage to you if you're just wearing bronze armor. Probably not by a whole lot, but yeah, it's pretty hefty. So I would prioritize health food if you're doing this. But yeah, that's about how much damage a level 3 bronze sword will do from it. So just for kicks, I'm going to go back into ghost mode. And then we're going to spawn in a 2-star one of these, just so you can see the size difference. It's kind of crazy. So spawn, and their code name is Bjorn. And we're going to do one of them at just, let's see, 2-star. Check. Oh, that's a 1-star. All right. So there's the 1-star. Let's do a 2-star here. There we go. There's the 2-star. So they can get pretty big and pretty hefty. And if I went out of Ghost, this thing would probably demolish me. Let's just see here. Can I even block it? Yeah. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try that. I'm not even gonna try that. So maybe I can spawn them in 2-star. I have not naturally come across a 2-star yet, but I haven't looked around a lot. I only came across this the normal one that we fought first. So that is the large bears. Now we're gonna go fight a Vile, which could be found in the plains biome, particularly at night. All right, so we have a Vile right here in the plains. This is the larger version, kind of an undead bear. Definitely interesting and a bit spooky. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the time of day so that you guys can see it better. Let's see here. Just for the sake of the video, check this thing out. That is creepy. All right, so this is just a normal Vile, no stars, and I'm using a level 3 black metal sword, which will be a weapon that you can get in the plains biome, just so that you can see the kind of damage that it does. I do hear some feelings around. I think I'm okay. Let me just go check. Okay, I see. I'm kind of by a camp over there. All right, I'm gonna go out of ghost mode now, and we're just gonna see how difficult this thing is to fight and how much damage the sword does. All right, so there it is. All right, so we can parry it. That's fine. This is just a sword, no shield. So not too bad. Ooh, yeah. You don't want to let it hit you. So that was with the Vile armor. If it hit me, you're kind of screwed. One hit took, yeah, over 100 health with the Vile armor. That's pretty insane. So you can see that by parrying it, I took it down almost half health with a couple of parries. But you would probably want to use the black metal shield. I'm just going to go back into Ghost here. You'd probably want to use the black metal shield for this one and really focus on timing your attacks, and you should be able to do it without any issues. But yeah, it looks pretty creepy. And then of course, I'm sure you guys want to see what a 2-star looks like, and or 1 and 2 stars. So let's just do spawn, and this is the Unbeorn. Let's do a 1-star. There's that guy right there. And let's go ahead and do a 2-star here. Yeah. Big mob. Again, haven't come across a 1 or 2-star naturally, but in case you run into one of these, or if they add them and everything as the update comes out, that's like, you know, almost bigger than a Lox right there, and does a insane amount of damage. So yeah, I'm not even, you know, you can already imagine the damage it would do. So now let me go back to my little starter area and show you what we can do with the drops from the Viles and the Bears. So here we go. On the top row, these 4 drops here are what the Viles will drop. You can see Vile Trophy, and this is a very low drop rate. Like possibly even like a 1 in 20 drop rate. They are very rare, and they might up their chances, especially when the full release comes out. Because yeah, I had to kill a lot of them to try to get one of these. They just drop bear meat, the bear hide, and the Vile rib cage. So that's basically what you'll need to craft the Vile armor set. And then the normal bears drop the same thing, bear meat and bear hide, except for the fact that they dropped bear paws and a bear trophy instead of the Vile trophy and the Vile rib cage. And that's used to craft the bear armor set. And then one more new thing added to the game here. We have ghost trophies, and we have Ectoplasm as drops that are from the ghost. So the ghost is not a new enemy, but they did do a visual overhaul of the ghost. As you can see, if I spawn one in here, there we go. You can see, looks quite a bit different than before. Kind of has a bit of a glowing feel, and you'll naturally run into these in crypts and things like that. So if we go ahead and kill one of these, that drops the Ectoplasm, and then a very low chance to drop the Ghost Trophy. So now I'm going to go over some of the new weapons and gear that we can craft from this update. So I think those are in this chest. Yeah. So we can craft, starting out with the Black Metal Battle Axe. This is a really awesome weapon. You can see the stats there. Slash of 110, 20 stamina. So really cool to have another battle axe option. And let me just pull up the recipe for that one here. So here you go. It just uses fine wood, black metal, and linen thread. Pretty straightforward there. And then next on the list, we have the Skull Splitter, which is another really cool weapon. Let me actually bring these into my inventory and equip them. So this is the Black Metal Battle Axe. Looks really great. Huge swings. Pretty good attack there. And then the Skull Splitter here. I think same thing. Another Battle Axe. Looks really, really great. I love the look of this thing. And those are the stats of this one. A bit more slash. It's a bit more hefty, essentially, than the Black Metal Battle Axe there. And the recipe for this one is just iron and Yggdrasil wood and refined aether. So that is basically this guy. You need to get to the Mistlands before crafting it. And then as far as other weapons, we have a wooden sword. And what's really cool about the wooden weapons that they added to this game, they have a wooden sword as well as a battle axe and all of the other wooden weapons. There's currently a bug, I think, where they don't show up in our crafting recipes right now, so all I was able to craft for this video was the wooden sword. But what's nice about these is that you can actually practice combat with other players in the game and not take damage. So that is a really cool thing. They're kind of like a dummy swashbuckle type weapons. And it's really nice that they added that. And then next on the list for the last two combat-related weapons, we have the Vilebone Maul Claws, as well as the Paws of the Bear, which you can craft from the parts of each of those mobs there. So I can just bring these into my inventory. And this is what the Paws of the Bear here. More fist weapons, kind of like the Fenring Claws. And again, those ones here, just a bit more spiky, bit more damage. So yeah, a really nice armor set to kind of complete it there. But now, speaking of trainings, the training stuff, like the wooden sword and stuff, let me go over the new buildables of this update, because they added a training dummy that is really, really cool. And to craft the training dummy, aka the Battle Brother, it is just in the miscellaneous tab all the way at the end. Uses fine wood, bronze nails, and ectoplasm at the workbench. And let me show you what this thing does. So basically, when you have it set up, if you go within range of it, it aggroes on you like a mob, and you can practice whacking it and parrying it, and it basically just heals faster than you can do damage, even with a fully maxed out weapon. So this thing is awesome. Let me just show you a parry here. That was just a normal block. Still just a normal block. Really great for timing. There you go. Fully parried it there. And then if you back away just a little bit, it shoots projectiles at you that you can also practice parrying to sort of mimic all of the mobs and enemies that shoot stuff at you with a bow and arrow. So that's a really, really nice addition to the game to get all of your skills up. And speaking of skills, at the bottom of the skill tree, you'll notice a new skill, the dodging skill, that was added with this update. And what that does is if you perform a perfect dodge roll and avoid all of the attack damage from an enemy, then you have a chance to regain a percentage of your stamina, which is really nice. So yeah, another skill there that they added. They also fixed the ability to fight things when you're on a slope. Previously, when you had the upper ground or the high ground, you just couldn't hit stuff. It was like your weapon was just too high and stuff. So they fixed that, added all kinds of quality of life stuff. I'll go over some more combat related things here soon. But first, let me just finish off by showing you the rest of the buildables here. We have a nice bear rug there that looks great. That is in the furniture tab. The bearskin rug, just bear hide, bear paw, and bear trophy. And then as you can see on the wall behind the bear rug, I have an archery target, which is new with fine wood and leather. And the archery target, similar to the practice dummy, I'm just in ghost mode right now so that it doesn't aggro on me, basically allows you to practice with your bow and even retrieve your arrows. So check this out. It even gives you a score. If I shoot all the way off to the side, gives me a score of 1. That's not great. If I start aiming a little more toward the middle, let's see here. That gave me a score of 8. That was pretty good. Let's see if I can get even better. There's another 8. Is 8 the bullseye? Oh no, 8 was right on the side of the bullseye. Let's see if I can get a direct bullseye. 5. Oh, that kind of went off in that direction. I gotta get better with my bow aiming. It's been a bit. But anyway, gives you a little score, and then you can just go up to your target and press E to collect all of your arrows again. And again, doesn't take damage, which is really, really cool. This little battle buddy will damage the structures around it though, so I wouldn't really advise you to build it inside of your house. Just build it in the courtyard or something, or right outside your house so that it's not chucking projectiles or whacking the walls or the floor of your house if it misses you. But yeah, some really nice buildables there. So now moving on to some more combat related things and items, which are some nice additions. We get a bunch of blob bombs here. And to unlock the ability to craft these blob bombs, you have to first buy the corked vial from the Bog Witch. You can buy it from the Bog Witch after you have fought the Elder boss. So you need to first fight the Elder, it'll show up for you. You can buy that and unlock the recipes for the rest of these blob bombs here. And I'll go over the recipes for those. The Frost Blob Bomb is just a corked vial, a Golem trophy, and 3 resin. These are fairly expensive. I know stone golem trophies are definitely hard to come by. These recipes might change for the final release, but they're also a nice way to use up old trophies that you might have lying around, especially more endgame. We have the lava blob here, and that is sulfur and the proustite powder. And then the poison one, which is a blob trophy and some more resin. The elite poison one, more blob trophies and resin. And then the tar one, which is a growth trophy and tar. So that's the recipes for them. Let me bring some of them into my inventory and basically show you what they do. They're kind of interesting here. And one of them is even completely new. So if I click on the tar one, for example, and I chuck it, it spawns a growth here. Basically the tar blob that you can find near the tar pits in the plains biome. And that will do damage to other enemies. If I have an enemy, it could just obliterate it. Let's go ahead and spawn something in. Let's do a troll out of curiosity and see what this blob does against it. It's the tar one. It's gonna do a lot of damage. And it's got a ranged attack also. I think the tar one is honestly my favorite, but yeah. These things, they really help you out. So you can see there, it took a lot of damage. But in the meantime, it's getting our troll. Yeah, just one of those got the troll below half health. And that's a pretty hefty enemy. So yeah, there's the blob one. You can see here, this one is a frost blob, which we don't actually see these in the mountains currently, but maybe we will by the time this update is fully out. I don't really know. But yeah, just does some frost damage, and if they die, they do just drop some crystals, so nothing really new from them. And then for the next one, we have the Oozer from the swamps. Does the same damage as one of those guys. And let's see here. Just normal blobs as well that we can do. So that's nice. And then the Ashlands one here, the lava blob, which when it gets close to something, it will explode. So again, if I spawn in something, let's just do another troll just to show you the damage that this one does. As it gets close to the thing, it'll explode and catches the troll on fire, taking some of its health away. But as I said, I think the tar one is my favorite so far. And then last but not least, for the combat related stuff, we now have trinkets added to the game. We have 13 of them, which is really awesome, and I'll show you how these things work. But first of all, let me just pull up the recipes and the stats for each of them. So starting out, we have the Bracelets of the Brave, which basically has an adrenaline cost, and I'll show you how that mechanic works. It's a whole new mechanic in game. Adrenaline effect is what it does. Increased mace damage and a quick health burst regen. So that's the buff that it does. And then to craft that, you need black metal, Lox Pelt, and a Lox Trophy. Then we have the Evasion Mantle. And this one costs 60 adrenaline, increases dodge skill, and reduced block stamina cost, which is really, really cool. And again, some more details below it. Black metal, a fueling trophy, or fueling berserker trophy, and linen thread. And then Heart of the Forest, 50 adrenaline, increased health regen. So that's a nice one. Just some bronze, ancient seed, and a Greydorf Shaman trophy. So very easy to craft in Black Forest level. The Bronze Pendant, which does increase stamina regen for bronze, bear trophy, and ruby. The Pulsating Earrings, increased Aether regen, which is really cool. Carapace, refined Aether, and the Yawl trophy. And then Fins of Destiny. These are cool. Reduced swim stamina cost and increased swim speed. So this is really awesome. Basically, some more underwater, not underwater because there's not really diving in Valheim, but yeah, maybe you get whacked by a serpent or something and gotta swim to shore or something like that. Could be interesting. Then we have the Jormungandling, and that is increased elemental and blood magic skill and a quicker burst of Aether regen for Flametal and Refine Aether, Bloodstone, as well as the Fallen Valkyrie trophy. And then we have the Brimstone, a quick burst of both health and stamina regen, Flametal, Sulfur, Molten Core, and the Morgan trophy. The Iron Brooch, which is increased armor and quick burst of health regen, Iron, Ancient Bark, and Leech trophy. The Nimble Anklet, increased run speed and quick burst of stamina regen, Iron, Withered Bone, and Surtling trophy. And then we have the Resounding Shackle, increased slash damage and a quick burst of stamina regeneration, Aether, Scale Hide, Mandible, and the Seeker trophy. And then Wolf Sight, increased bow skill, spear skill, and increased piercing damage, Silver, Wolffang, and Fenring trophy. And then we have the Crystal Heart, increased resistance against blunt slash pierce damage, Silver, Crystal, and the Golem trophy. And those are our little trinkets here. So let me just pick one and equip it. Let's go with the Iron Brooch, increased armor and a quick burst of health regen. So we can basically just right click it to equip. And now let me show you how these things work and what the adrenaline mechanic is, how that whole thing works. So to test this guy out, let me first maybe just eat some food so that our health can go up a little bit. And then I'm gonna spawn in a bunch of Greydorfs so that we can try this out. So basically, as I start hitting them, as I start fighting, you can see a red bar slowly filling up below my stamina bar. That is my adrenaline bar. You can see we're at 17, 18, 20, 23. So every time I hit them, it goes up. So I'm just gonna keep trying to fight them here, keep raising that red bar. By the time that bar hits the top, we should start seeing the effects of that trinket. We should see a small health buff. So let's see there. It's almost at the top, and there you go. Our health bar is now completely full. So that's a really cool thing. And if I do this all the way again, as we start taking health damage, raising the red bar all the way up, or the orange bar, I guess. Red bar's the health one. I won't confuse you guys. But I think that's a really cool thing. If we start taking out a bunch of them, you can see we get that orange bar raising much faster, and we are back to full health again. So a super cool feature, and each of those trinkets will do different things depending on your liking. So yeah, lots of cool combat stuff. And then before I end the video, I figure I'll just go over a couple of other miscellaneous things on their patch notes in case any of you are curious that I didn't really show in the video. We have a new location added, the Combat Ruin, and then 3 new hairstyles, which is really nice, 5 new beard styles, and then fixes and improvements. Perfect Block no longer costs stamina, reduced movement speed, penalty on battle axes, and all of that. Yeah, vertical fighting improvements like I had mentioned. And then this is a big one, rebalanced Forsaken powers. So all of the powers and buffs that you can get by activating the boss powers are now all changed around. Different additions and everything. For example, Yeah, we even have like a farming skill added to the Yogluth one and all of that good stuff. So feel free to read those in some more detail. And then we also have some item stand things where all of this stuff is now allowed to be placed on item stands, which is really cool. New item stand positions and orientations on these items have all been updated. So that's really nice. Yeah, updated old hairstyle names, updated localization, ghost visual overhaul, which I mentioned, upgraded the Unity engine, a bunch of bug fixes, which I'll kind of let you guys go over if you want to. Yeah, some new server list improvements, Steam and Xbox. So yeah, definitely a nice little update there. And another question that I get asked a lot on this channel is when will I get back to more Valheim? I used to do a lot of builds and adventure and all of that because it really is an amazing game. And the answer to that is that I have been waiting for the 1.0 release. I really can't wait for Deep North to come out where I could just dive in fully and create a forever world and just go through all of the adventures, create some amazing builds and all of that. So do be sure to subscribe for that. I really would love to hop back into this game once Deep North comes out. I've kind of done lots of little playthroughs, never really fully finished the game because each update I would kind of start a new world to get the new features of the update and so on. But yeah, there's the answer there. I do hope to get back into the game as time goes on, but just waiting on some more completion of it. But with that said, I hope you enjoyed this little update video. Be sure to subscribe, join the Discord server through the link in the description, and I will see you next time. Cheers.